Hey, welcome to I'm That Mom, the podcast about motherhood without the pressure of perfection. My name is Katy. I'm a self-taught entrepreneur who started my baby company while pregnant and grew it to an 8-figure business as a single mom of 3. Join us as we discuss the fun, funny, and messy parts of motherhood. We're certainly not experts. We're just here to support all the moms and hopefully, collectively, we don't completely f*** it up. Okay, today's topic is my personal favorite because nursery design it's where it all started.
Well, yeah.
And it's my favorite. Like deep down, if I wasn't doing this company, I would be doing interior design.
And you're good at it. You've done some celebrity nurseries in addition to 3 of your own.
Oh,
so
well, yes.
You know what you're doing here.
I know, but now even when I look back at my own nurseries from, 17, 14, and 10 years ago, I'm like, oh my God, did I have chevron all over that wall? Do you remember when chevron was huge? Everywhere. Like
on everything.
On everything. Like you walk into Target and when like the grocery store has packaging and it has like prints on it. After chevron, cactus, I remember too, was a huge trend. But now today, you know what I think the biggest trend is just kind of neutral, soft, like green or white nurseries, which I love because it kind of works both ways.
That's so funny because that is Grayson's nursery is
really?
Green and white. We wanted a peaceful vibe, and so we started with the color.
Yeah.
And for us, that was green, and it's like nice and neutral.
And I don't even think it's about gender. I think really kind of a neutral palette has extended into our home in general. Whereas 10 years ago, we'd paint dining rooms red and we'd have stripes on the walls. And now if you get on like Pinterest or Instagram and you look up, all of our favorite home decor and everything is very kind of neutral and peaceful. And I think we're just so desperate for calmness in our lives right now that if a couch or like a glider or a crib sheet makes us happy, then we should just do it.
Exactly.
And that's my number one design tip for nursery design. Like if it makes you happy, you buy it.
I like that.
That's perfect, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so where does a new mom start? Design inspiration, really. I mean, there's 2 kind of looks, I would say, color and theme. I started with color. It was always my favorite to pick, which it sounds like you did too, with the green and the white.
Yeah.
But I love like a boho nursery with the big like feathers and the palm fans. And I love a good name over the crib. I mean, that's like my go-to.
Who doesn't?
We
love everything personalized for babies.
Because you obsess over naming your baby, and then the second you finally pick a name, like once you monogram something or you put it over the crib, like there's no going back.
No,
you can't.
You're committed.
You're committed. Yeah, it's done. Although I bet there's people that are like, oh no, I wasn't committed. I had all the things, and then I still changed the baby's name.
Like
but
Kylie Jenner style.
Yeah. I'm not that cool. Once I monogram something, I'm like, that's it. It's done. But for sure, like color or theme. And really, if you don't pick one, I mean, with all the choices out there, you'll end up with 9 nurseries after 9 months of figuring it out. So start with one, pick it, and then I always recommend like bringing a swatch or having some kind of something in your bag so that when you're out and you go to Target or Home Goods and you see something that might work for the room, it's there to grab for you. But focal points on the wall. So usually a crib is the first piece you buy. And there's so many choices. Like now they've got metal cribs, wood cribs. I love the cribs that convert all the way to a full-size bed.
Yes.
So
we love a good 3-in-1.
Yes. And with the toddler rail, so you can take the front off, you kind of have a transitional period, and then it can grow all the way to a big kid. I happened to buy a crib that I just left, and I use the same crib for each baby. So I think there's like 2 plays on it.
Yeah, I mean, if you know you're going to have multiple kids, then maybe you just have one nursery, and that's the constant nursery.
I love that. Yes, and then like the big kids could move to the guest bedroom, or you kind of transition. But then you don't get to decorate another nursery. And that's kind of like the really fun part of being pregnant, right?
Yeah, just picking everything out and just adding to your home.
Yes. Okay, so let's talk about the big pieces. So crib would be first purchase. And, definitely shop it. I mean, there's friends. You only use a crib for 2 years. So I always recommend like reaching out to friends. You might be able to buy one it's like unused.
Yeah, I mean, especially with the shipping time on some furniture
Oh
lately,
my God, can you imagine?
Like, go find some friends or
Yes.
find wherever.
Hand-me-downs of furniture. And then a glider. I think it's always great to have some kind of sitting spot in the nursery for reading a book at bedtime, but, breastfeeding in the middle of the night, bottles, kind of creating that routine for babies. So they know it's like bath time, then they sit in the chair, you read a book, have a bottle, and then go to bed.
But make sure that chair is comfortable because you will spend so much time in there. Like, I know we do a lot of things for aesthetics, but that is one thing I think you need to have comfort in.
I had a glider that reclined.
Yes, same.
And it was amazing because I could just crank it back and then baby'd fall asleep on me. Although I'm pretty sure I fell asleep a couple times and baby'd be like in my armpit, like awkwardly crammed down. But it did help. And especially in the middle of the night.
Like falling asleep in the chair with the baby.
Yeah.
And okay, so I know your kids are a little older, but so our glider that we got last year, it has little buttons, so you plug it into the wall. No. And it comes with a phone charger in the side too.
Stop it.
So you can just park yourself there.
Does
all
it
night.
feed the baby too?
I mean,
and like have a back massager in the back
there
and
is
all
a little
the
back
things?
Pillow.
Yeah, I would keep that. That's something I would not pass on. But did you pick like a neutral color or something you can use with second
white.
baby?
It's
That's
white.
Perfect.
And like the stains come out easy. It's baby furniture. They're prepared for that. And it'll match like no matter how many kids we have.
Yep, I love that. And even changing tables have come a long way. It used to be that you'd have a dresser and a changing table separately, but now these dressers, you can put a changing pad on top, which is great because you have more space. So you can kind of have like a changing station and keep diapers in a basket and wipes. So it's all convenient. Maybe have your sound machine on one side, a wipe warmer. Yeah. Why don't us as adults have like wipe warmers?
My husband uses Grayson's now.
We won't tell him that you're telling everybody that. She doesn't even use it anymore.
Pretty proud of the
it's
fact
like on
that,
your toilet and
he
you're
reclaimed it. He's like, this is genius. Like she doesn't need it anymore, so I'm gonna take advantage of it. Somebody gifted it to us. We need to use this gift.
Amazing. Yeah, that's amazing. So if you don't have a wipe warmer, I highly recommend you add it to your baby registry like right now. Although if you get baby used to having warm wipes and then you're out and about and you get a cold wipe out, that I had the same like theory with bottles. I'd always give my baby like room temperature bottles because I was like, I'll be damned if I'm out in Target and I have to go find a microwave to heat up my bottle. So I was like the bad mom that didn't do warm bottles.
Oh my gosh.
But it totally worked to my favor on all the other days because I was like, oh yeah, room temperature water. It's perfect.
All right. So here's another difference between the ages of our kids.
Yeah.
They have portable bottle warmers now.
Okay.
So you just screw the bottle in and
fair.
you press a button and you pick whether you want the breast milk temperature or the formula temperature.
That's amazing.
And it's on the go. You just keep it charged at home and just throw it in the diaper bag. And
my God.
I was the bougie mom. I made sure her bottles were warm all the time.
And I guarantee you it was a mom that invented that product. Because she was like me, probably trying to figure out how you take baby out and warm up the bottle at the same time. And she's like, well, if I just have a portable one, it's brilliant. I love it.
The best money we ever spent.
That's
it was perfect. And it helps Kevin a lot too because the temperature is already preset. So he
I thought you were going to say because when he has to use the bathroom.
No.
I'm like, are we talking about bottle warmers or wipe warmers? Which one? It helps Kevin.
No, it helps the dads because it's literally just one button. You don't have to do the wrist thing anymore and like test it out. So it's like convenient for everybody.
That's amazing. I love it. Okay, so what else for your nursery? Even if you have carpet in the room, I believe in some kind of a rug for multiple reasons. Because how many times do you change baby's clothes on the floor?
A lot.
A lot, right? But I feel like a rug kind of grounds the space because you have so many big pieces of furniture in the nursery and they're always around the perimeter of the walls. And so even having a small accent rug, I always had like kind of a soft shaggy one so that I could lay baby on it to change them. and kept it just barely under the crib. And I liked how it like created, it like grounded that space. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
A little bit, instead of having like everything kind of spaced out.
So like what size rug? Like that's my struggle is like,
which one?
Like how big do you make it like relative to the crib or the room? Do you want it covering the whole room? Or?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess you could. If you have wood floors, for sure, I'd do a larger, like 8 by 10, or if you have a really big room, an 11 by 14. But I think if it's a normal size bedroom, and most bedrooms have carpet in it, I would go for either a 3 by 5 or 4 by 6, because after you use it just right at like angled by the crib, you could even put it in the corner later on, like a reading nook, and do like throw pillows, or I don't know. I love like parts of the nursery that you can use later on.
Okay. I like that.
I'm all for, if you're going to spend the money on it, like make sure you get more than 24 months use out of it.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So, but any size, make any size work. The bigger ones, you can't move around as much, but it's also a great way to add color or pattern to the room. So maybe if you're renting a home and you can't paint the walls, but you want to bring color in, you use it for the floor. Or if you want a neutral crib sheet on the, crib, but you have a white glider like you had and you just want a pop of color, I don't know, I feel like rugs are a great way to kind of make a statement without it being so permanent.
Perfect.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
No, I agree. And you can take cute baby photos on them too.
And you can take yes. Make sure in your nursery you have a spot to do monthly photos so that you can do the 1 month, the 2 month, the 3 month.
Yes.
I love them in the chair or on the floor, the whole thing. But really thinking about like what makes a great nursery, I kind of going back to that point about a statement wall. And my go-to was the name, of course. I love all these arches people are painting. There's sticker decals you can buy now that aren't temporary. So if you want to do like a large floral pattern on the wall, they're like vinyl stickers and they're peel and stick. It's amazing. Etsy's my go-to. I mean, there's so much cool stuff there. I love the digital prints you can print online. And then just frame them. So you just go to your local like craft store and buy just an inexpensive frame and print, maybe it's a theme. Like if you're doing a woodland nursery, you could do mountains and little foxes or animals. What did you put over your crib?
We have her name like on the wall, and then that was our accent wall. We did like the one wall green. And then her other pop of color was her curtains, because that was something that like I had just read about constantly, was you need good blackout curtains.
Blackout. That is what I was waiting for you to say, is blackout curtains.
And they need to go like all the way around, because we even found some gaps now, like 9 months later, where I'm like,
you're like, every ounce of light that comes through is 30 minutes less of sleep.
It really
that we're gonna
is.
get.
It really
I have
is.
to make sure it's duct taped the whole way around.
Yeah,
it's true. And putting in a white noisemaker, I think, helps, or having a fan, something that's like kind of that ambient noise that helps baby one get used to not having to sleep in pure silence. Because the reality is that when is your house ever like truly completely silent? And you don't want to be tiptoeing. Like babies should learn how to sleep with noise and things going on, because life happens.
Well, yeah, and like in the 5 minutes that my house is quiet, that's when somebody rings the doorbell and the dogs go crazy.
Time.
So I need her to sleep through that.
That's right. So, and then baby monitors. Oh my God, have you seen these new monitors where they hang? You probably have it. I'm going to tell you, and this isn't fair because this is really aging me, but with my first, we didn't even have video monitors. It was a sound, like one of the boxes where the red line would like go, and that's how the noise factor was up. And then it was, I think my second one, I could actually connect it to a phone. No, I think it was a video on the monitor. And then it wasn't until Lila, my youngest, that I could actually watch on the phone. And I thought it was like the smartest thing in the whole world.
Oh my gosh.
And now it's like 3D projections, like in like real time, that like show you everything. And
well, and I'm not going to lie, we have the one that like you can tell if she's asleep or awake. It tracks her heart rate. her breathing because I'm psycho first time mom, and I was like, I need all the peace of mind I can get.
We are literally with every new product taking the parenting out of parenting.
I know.
I had to actually go check on the baby to make sure that they were breathing and do all the psycho mom things.
Why isn't the internet loading this fast enough?
Yes.
What's going on in there?
Oh my God, real world problems. We could probably
just run over there faster.
Yes, but that's so cool. I mean, there really is some really cool cameras that will watch them now. And it's because as new moms, and even as second and third time and fourth time moms, you still obsess. Like I saw a TikTok recently where it was like a mom and a dad in the TikTok, and like the baby makes a sound and everyone's like, what? And because everything stops around it. And so if you have a little baby that is like a squeaker, you know how some babies sleep and they're like, you do not sleep as a mom because you're constantly checking on baby. And that's when those babies should move to their cribs earlier.
And that's why we moved Grayson so early. And so we had to make sure that her nursery was ready to go.
Yep. I know. Okay, let me think. What else? What
about
other
storage? Because so for Grayson, we got a ton of hats and bows and socks and shoes. She doesn't even wear shoes yet, and she has just as many shoes as I do.
Yes, and always like the extra room has the smallest closet.
Yeah. So what do you do?
And your kids have the most clothes.
I mean, you're trying to save space so that the baby has room to play. And I mean, bedrooms are all different sizes. Like, what can we do?
So I always used like a dresser. So we talked about not having a changing table, but actually using a dresser, which usually gives you about 6 more drawers, which is great for like folding onesies and putting in their little socks and their leggings and their easy stuff. But even just there's so many cool organizational systems now for your closet. And if you just walk into a normal closet, there's 2 racks, right? And the baby's clothes hang like this far.
Yeah.
And especially if you only have 1 rack, you can go buy those like rod extensions that will drop down, give you a secondary. And, I loved, oh my gosh, they were closet dividers. So you know how when you're pregnant and you don't want to buy too much newborn because you know they're going to grow into the next size in 3 months. And I mean, that first year, you're cycling out clothes like all the time. And it was so nice to have a closet divider because then I could see which outfits, because the worst thing that could happen is that because your baby will grow literally like by 10 pounds overnight. And then you go and you've been saving your most favorite outfit and it has the tags on it and it doesn't fit. So I think a closet divider is a great way to kind of keep you organized. As baby grows out of it, you can pull items out. When you're storing them for second baby, make sure you label. I highly recommend you don't keep a basket in the corner where you're just throwing stuff in, because then when second baby comes, that's you're pointing to yourself.
I have that right now. Like, it's a tub. Like, I intend on labeling it, but it's a pile
I kept like 1 basket that I'd make at the bottom, kind of like a laundry hamper, and I would put all the clothes in it. And then when he or she grew out of that size, I'd make sure I closed it. I'd take it up to the attic and I labeled it. And that way I knew, with my next daughter, I could pull down the buckets by size, and that was super helpful. But make sure you're washing clothes. I don't know how many times I pulled out clothes that had like yellow breasts, and they were washed. I'm saying wash, but I wash these things.
Stain free.
Yes, make sure if it has any stain, like for some reason the attic makes them come out even more. It was crazy. But okay, so we talked about blackout curtains. We talked about the crib, the paint colors, the focal point on the wall. And then, I wrote down here buying pieces that your baby will outgrow quickly. It really comes back to that. Like, even with the swings and the gliders and all the baby toys, like, try to be intentional with your purchases and talk to moms that have had babies recently, because they're the best source for information.
Go check out their nursery.
Go check out theirs. Yeah. See what they're getting ready to transition to. What did they use? What could be used differently? What was their favorite mattress? Admitting that once my baby was out of her swaddle, all my babies, I was the mom that put like a small pillow in their crib. I did. How are they supposed to sleep like when it's like hard and the whole thing? And I'm going to remind people out there that our moms put us on our stomach to sleep, and we did just fine. And now it's the opposite. But I waited until they were probably 6 months old and old enough to, make sure they weren't doing anything crazy.
Yeah.
But I had all the pacifiers and a pillow and crib bumpers and all the things.
But
it was fine.
I think that goes back to like basic like momming and parenting.
Yes.
Like do what works for you.
And check on your baby. And don't maybe rely on some of these like really cool products, and make sure that.
No, that's what we have instincts for.
That's right. Yeah. There's so much cool stuff out there. I mean, it's crazy when you think about what was available even 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago and what is available now. But the nurseries have come so far. I mean, gone are the days of like the wallpaper with the border. I mean, wallpaper is cool. I shouldn't dog wallpaper because there's actually some really cool wallpapers out there. But the borders and the like giraffes and the flowers. And the cheesiness. Like now the nursery can be as gorgeous as any room in your house. And I am here for that. Like show it off, post the pictures, be proud of it. This is a huge moment. And really, when we say it, like the nursery should be your favorite room in the house.
Absolutely.
I love it. That was so fun. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. And I hope you found a little nugget of something helpful in there. If you're curious about our brand and what we've been up to, you can check us out at cadenlane.com or join us on social, where we've got several exciting projects that we can't wait to get you involved in. See you soon.